The Ball poem is another very interesting poem written by John Berryman. Let us know about this poet. Brief information. John Berryman was an American poet and playwright who was born on October 25th, 1914 in McAlester, Oklahoma. He is best known for his innovative work, particularly the Dream Songs, a collection that explores themes of identity, loss, and the human experience. Berryman's writing often reflects his struggles with depression and personal tragedy, including the loss of his father. Awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry in 1965, Berryman is considered a significant figure in 20th century American literature, influencing many contemporary poets. So, before we enjoy the ball poem, let us know as we supposed to read out this. What is connecting in this poem? A boy loses a ball. He is very upset. A ball doesn't cost much, nor is it difficult to buy another ball. Why then is the boy so upset? Read the poem to see what the poet thinks he has been lost. He been lost. And what the boy has to learn from their experience of l- losing something. So two questions which is connected. After understanding, you should reply or give answer to yourself. Connect this poem to yourself. Then only you will enjoy. In the place of the boy, that you yourself, you are there. Okay. So, two questions. Think that you have lost what you have lost. Think that what you have lost and what you have learned from that experience of losing something. So, two questions. Reflect to yourself. After understanding this poem, then you will get the answer. So let us go line by line and understand each expression of a poet. What is the boy now? What is the boy now who has lost his? So here in this first line, the poet is putting a putting a question about the boy's state after losing his ball. So the poet uses a rhetorical question to emphasize the boy's emotional state and the significance of the loss. Second, what what is he to do? I saw it go. Here the poet repeats the question to highlight the boy's confusion and helplessness. What underscores the boy's uncertainty and distress? That means the repetition. What? Okay, the poetic device has used here. Okay, repetition of what. That underscores makes us understand that the boy's uncertainty and distress merrily bouncing down the street and then. So here, what is that thing? The ball was cheerfully bouncing down the street before it was lost. The line here creates a visual image of the ball's movement, contrasting the boy's current sorrow with the ball's previous enjoyment. So here in this line just now, merrily bouncing, the poetic device, the poet uses of imagery. That means visual imagery. Imagery. Visual image. Presentation of the ball's movement merely over where it is in the water. So here the ball ended up in the water, out of reach from the ball. The poets again used imagery poetic device to provide a vivid picture of the ball's final resting place, reinforcing the sense of loss. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. So here it it's so here the point is telling us that it is pointless to suggest that other balls can replace the lost one. But the poet addresses the reader or the boy who was playing with that ball, emphasizing the futility of replacing the lost ball. That means nothing can be replaced with that ball. Okay, that was the difference. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. So here the boy is experiencing deep and profound grief. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. That means experiencing very deep sorrow, and he was in very deep grief. So the poetic device that he used in this line is of personification. Okay, personification. Grief is described as ultimate. Grief, this grief is described as ultimate. Okay, ultimate. And shaking, both the word, okay, grief and shaking, okay, and shaking attributing human characteristics to an abstract emotion. As he stands rigid, trembling, staring down, the boy stands still, trembling, with his gaze fixed on the water. The poetic device again the poet used here is of imagery that creates a vivid picture of the boy's physical and emotional state. All his young days into the harbor were. So here in this line, the boy reflects on his childhood as he watches the ball in the harbor. That means harbor is the place where ships are loaded and unloaded. You can simply say it is a ship station. So the poetic device the poet used in this line is of metaphor. The boy's reflection on his life is metaphorically linked to the ball's resting place. Okay. His ball went. I would not intrude on him. This line the poet tells us about the respects the boy's grief. The poet is respect boy's grief and does not want to enter ball. The poetic device the poet use here is allusion. 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 The poet alludes to the boy's private moment of loss and contemplation. A deem another ball is worthless now. So here, deem another ball is worthless now. Money or another ball is meaningless. That particular ball was the best. So the poetic device in this line, the poet use is of symbolism. 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 The deem and the ball symbolize the deem here, the deem and ball, this one, ball, symbolize material possession, okay, material possessions that cannot compensate for emotional loss. And he senses first responsibility. In this line, the poet tells that the boy begins to understand responsibility through this loss. The poetic device the poet used here is of personification. Responsibility, this one, okay? Responsibility is portrayed as something the boy is beginning to sense and understanding. In a world of possessions, people will take. So here in this line, the poet is talking about a materialistic world. Possessions are temporary and can be taken away. Again, the poet generalizes about the nature of possessions and human behavior. Balls will be lost always. The little boy. Balls will be lost always. Little boy. Here, the poet underscores that losing possessions is a common thing and nobody can stop this losing inevitable experience. The poet here again used the device of repetition. What is repeated? Balls. So the repetition of balls emphasizes the inevitability and frequency of loss. Everybody is experiencing this in reality. And no one buys a ball back. Money is external. So in this line, the poet tells that money cannot replace the lost ball. It is external to the emotional experience. So the poetic device the poet used here is of contrast. Contrast. Contrast material wealth with emotional value, highlighting the limitations of money. He is learning well behind his disparate eyes. Here, the poet tells that the boy is gaining insight into loss and reality, which is visibly through his disparate gaze. So again, the poet used here is imagery poetic device that describes the boy's eyes to reflect his internal struggle and learning process. Knowing, no, the epistemology of loss, how to stand up. Here the poet tells that the boy is learning about the nature of loss and how to cope, how to deal with it. So the poetic device the poet used here is of abstract noun, that is epistemology. Okay, epistemology, to describe the study or understanding of loss, presenting it as a philosophical concept. Knowing what every man must one day know, and most known many days, how to stand up. So finally, these two lines, the poet tells that in the first one, this one, the boy is gaining an understanding that everyone must eventually experience loss in one's life. So the poetic device that the poet is using here in this last second line is of universal statement that nobody can deny. Okay, it is a fact. Universal statement suggests that the lesson the boy is learning is a universal truth applicable to all in this world, and must know many days how to stand up. So the poet tells here most people have to learn how to cope with loss repeatedly over time. So the poetic device again the poet used in this last one is the repetition. How to stand up. The phrase how to stand up emphasizes the ongoing nature of dealing with loss. So this is all about the poem that John Berryman wants us to understand, okay, that nothing can be replaced if something that is very dear to me and it is lost. And it is a fact. One day everything that matter in we are living in the materialistic world and everything is going to left behind. So this is all. I hope you enjoyed the poem and thank you. And again, I remind you read and revise to enjoy more and understand the best. Thank you. Take care. We'll meet with the next chapter. Thank you.